Hello, my friends. Welcome to .NET Core tutorial series. Today, I would like to do a quick demonstration on Web API. So, I'm going to use .NET Core 2.2 updates, and I'm going to discuss how we can set up quickly the Web API project, and how we can quickly do some demonstrations, and how you guys can leverage in your future projects. And also, I would like to make some more videos on how you can use .NET Core Entity Framework using the same project, so you guys can save the data and retrieve the data, and you guys can leverage that database connectivity in your future projects too. So let's without further ado, let's start. So I'm going to use the same template as ASP.NET Core Web Application, which we'll be using for Web APIs, if you can see here. So click next, and I'm gonna give a nice and simple name, Web API. Let's create the project. So I'm gonna use Web API template and .NET Core 2.2 and .NET Core. Let's create. So the project has been created, and this is the welcome screen. So if I go to the program.cs, this is the .NET Core startup and the program, which is the host and how you can use the startup file and everything. So this is this startup here. So I guess you guys know these configurations and stuff. And if you guys are new to .NET Core, please put some comments, and I would like to make some more videos and how explain in these sections. So if you go to the controllers here, you can see there's a default controller called values controller. So the one of the changes you can see here is not API controller anymore, it's controller base. That's the base class. This has the value controller has derived from. So that is one change. And also you can see by default you have few signatures have been created by the template. So the first one is a get method, and the second one is a get method with ID, and the third one is a post method, and the fourth one is a put method, and the last one is a delete method. So if you guys are new to API concepts, I would like to do a quick introduction on how actually these verbs, HTTP verbs, how you can match. So I'll quickly copy paste this text here. So if you guys can see these ones here. So C stands for create, and the HTTP verb for create is post. So if you can see here, this is the post method which is matching to the create request. So anytime the server gets the request for post method, that means the definition of this method is to create something on the server side. So create a new resource and then send the signal back to the client saying, okay, the job has been done. This is the response. The next method is a read, and the corresponding type is get. So if you can see here, we have two get methods here, this one and this one. This one is to get all, and this is get by ID. If you can see the route here, values, and then ID is here, this one. The next one is update. So update, the corresponding method is put, which is this. And so this put and post are pretty much similar. They have been designed to create resources on the server side, but the main difference between put is like if you call the put twice with the same information, according to the definition, the server should not create the resource again. But having said that, it's up to the developer to actually design what to do. So there's no restrictions to create another resource for the same data, but the definition on the put request is not to create it again. So that is the main difference. And the last one is delete, which is to delete the resource on the server side based on the request ID. So those are the main four operations. If you can see, this acronym is CRUD, CRUD, and that is the main explanation here. So okay, now we have this nice template here. So I would go from top to bottom again, do a quick scan. So this is our route. So in ASP.NET Web APIs, you can define a route here without going to the startup or the MVC. You have a route class, but in the APIs, you can actually define the route here. So you can write the route as whatever the definition you want here. And this means by default, when you put inside the bracket, it gets the name of the controller. So you actually access this as the API/values. So if you access that, you would get access to inside here, and then you can go to the individual actions. So if you basically call API/values, the first one you should get is this. It should automatically hit the first get method. And if you go with a value, you should hit the second method. And the third one is the post method. You can pass some data in the body. And the fourth one is the put method again. So you pass ID and some data. And the last method is delete, and you pass the ID. And based on the ID, you do some actions. In this case, you should delete something from the server side. So those are the expected behaviors. So without further ado, let's run this project and see the default behavior. So this security risks because of the HTTPS, and the certificate is not a signed certificate. So I'll accept this for now. So as you can see here, we hit API values. That's the controller name, API values. Then the default action is get, it's HTTP get. And this is the return value, value 1 and value 2. And that is what you see here. If I click raw data, you see the same thing here. This is JSON format. So if we want to hit this one, we need to call the individual ID. So if I run here number 10, and if I enter, you should get the individual value. So that means it actually hit this action with the value 10, and you should get this value. So if I put a breakpoint here, and if I run this, you see it actually hit this action. And we are passing 10 here, and then you are returning value as the value. Okay, so that's the basic explanation of web APIs. So I would like to do a quick introduction on how you can do the post. So maybe I'll create a simple class, and then we'll do a quick post here. So let me add maybe a model class, model folder, and I add a class here. Maybe we'll create some class called product. So here I'll create the product ID, then I'll create, name. Yeah. So our product has a product ID and product name. Then I'll go back to this one. So let's try to post a product to a post controller, and let's assume that we are creating it on the backend. So in my future videos, I'll use the same tutorial and we'll build on top of this. So let's call product. So I'll use our product class here. Yep. So here we can do return. We can return OK. This is the HTTP 200, so the client knows the server has accepted the request and processed successfully. So I'll pass. We can pass a new product here. Fantastic. So yes, so we need to mark this as action result. Otherwise, it won't allow us to pass a complex object. So now what is happening here is we can do a post into this action and we are returning back this product to the client. So let's quickly demonstrate this. For this purpose, I'll introduce the Postman tool, which is a very helpful tool for Web API debugging and development. So I have the Postman here. You guys can download this tool. It's the free software. So let's create a new request. Our request type is post, and our URL would be let me check post. So it should be API values. Yep, and we are doing a post. And let's go to the body and let's create some raw data. And I'll pass the JSON data here. So our format here is ID and name. So this is how you create a JSON. Then you type the ID. We can put ID is 200. Name. We can put test. So now what should happen is when you send this request to the server, we should retrieve. The server should get this request, this object, and in return, the server should respond with this object. So here we can put anything. Just for our demonstration, I just put this. So let's do a debug point here, and let's send this. Okay, so looks like we got the request, and let's see what's inside the object. Okay, so we are 200 and test, and in return, the client should get ID 1 and banana as the product name. So if you go to the client, still in sending request, server hasn't sent anything back. So now I'm gonna process the request here, and there we go. So the client status is 200, and the data client received ID 1, name as banana. So that's how the server and client communication is working on the Web API level. So maybe I'll stop for now, and I'll continue on the next video. So in the next video, I'll focus on using put and delete methods, and also I'm planning to build some backend. So we will use SQL Server, and we will use .NET Core Entity Framework to communicate with the backend. So hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you guys have any questions or any concerns, please put some comments on below. So I would be more than happy to help and assist on any of those of any issues if you guys facing. and hope to see you guys again.